Welcome to Seattle Public Utilities Ask Evelyn Live, where we answer your questions about recycling, compost, garbage, and other trashy topics. I'm your host, Becca Fong, and this week, special delivery, how to deal with reducing your packaging waste. So this week we are talking about e-commerce and dealing with all of the stuff that comes to you, and there is a lot of it. So a great question this week about how to get slightly less packaging delivered to your door. Hey, Pat.
Hey, Becca. How you doing this week?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, good. Good to be here.
Awesome. So we are doing e-commerce this month. So we're talking about all the stuff that comes to your house in the mail. And, you know, I order a lot of stuff in the mail. So we've got a really good question this week about how to just get a little less of all of this. I got a lot
and we get so many questions at the Ask Evelyn inbox about packaging that comes to folks' houses. So we thought we'd pick one of these questions out and play with it for a little bit. Talk about packaging.
Absolutely. All right, Pat, you going to hit us with the question for this week?
Okay, it's a long one. Here we go.
Okay.
Comes from Tyler. Tyler says, "Hi, Evelyn. I recently ordered some stuff from Amazon in frustration-free packaging. It came in a cardboard box, still packaged nicely, but without all the usual hard plastics and zip ties and all those things. It was nice to be able to recycle just about all the packaging. It got me thinking about what other options are out there for really decreasing the amount of mail order packaging that has to go in the garbage. There are lots of claims of fully recyclable packaging, but what are your suggestions?" So what are our suggestions, Becca?
Okay, so really quickly, yeah, that is a long question. A really good one too, Tyler. So thank you for sending it to us. So there are options for getting less packaging in the mail. I mean, they're being sent to you. They need to protect the items and all of that. So there's going to be some amount of packaging. In a perfect world, we have none. But there are options. So two of them that we're going to talk about once we get into the details are consolidating your orders to ship in a single package or pick a single delivery day. So you're saving both packaging and transportation costs. And the other one, like the frustration-free packaging you talked about, Tyler, is to look really carefully at the packaging that your items are going to come in. And there are really a lot of cool options in this marketplace. I know, Pat, you've done a lot of research and you work with a lot of this in the commercial space, figuring out what some of those are. So now
we could,
those details.
Well, you can nerd out on this big time because it's obviously it's a big industry, right? Packaging.
It is.
And you don't really want the packaging. You want what's in the packaging. You know, you want the thing, not the thing it comes in. So everybody wants to say, "Oh my goodness, I got all this stuff, and now what do I do with it?" And you know, everybody who works at these companies are also consumers. They're dealing with the same thing at home. So there's actually a lot of traction out there on this topic. People who work for companies that make products are really looking at options. Reusable packaging, frustration-free packaging, reducing packaging, preparing their product in packaging that ships more directly. So Amazon, of course, the big kahuna, right? The major option
online
for most
retailer.
folks. That's right. They've got it laid out into 3 different categories, and I'll touch on those 3 first. So frustration-free, which you talked about, it's taking away, like the classic example is those of us who have kids and you get like a gift for a child. It's Christmas morning or birthdays, and it's, you know, the little pirate ship with all the action figures kind of zip tied into this little background scene in the clear plastic covered box.
Totally.
That's great when you're at the store, when you're at the, you know, you want to see it. But when you're online, you see a picture. So there are options. Folks can click on the frustration-free option, and what the manufacturer does is they pack it in just a brown paper box. They just pack it in a box. There's no zip ties. They don't have to present the product on the shelf the way you would at a retailer. It's more of a wholesale shipping direct. So it actually saves them time to just be able to put it in a box, you know, and just call it good. So look for that option, whether you're buying through Amazon or through a specific supplier, manufacturer, or product company.
Totally, because that whole frustration-free program, you know, I do a little research on it as well. And you're right, it doesn't need to be presented to be on a shelf, which is great. And then as per your example, I have definitely been there where you get a present for a child and they're like, "Sweet, I want to play with it." And then it takes 20 minutes to like unpackage the whole thing. And when it comes in the frustration-free packaging, they can just play with the pirate ship with all of the little pieces. And then oftentimes it's packaged in cardboard and paper, which is recyclable curbside, which is really great. So
the other angle on that, not necessarily the clear fronted, you know, toy box, but it's asking for packaging that is called SIOC. So this is an industry term. It's an acronym, ships in own container. So it basically means that Amazon doesn't have to, or any online delivery company, they don't have to pack it in a box just to ship it to you. So the manufacturer puts it in a box. Like, here's an example. So this is one of those, one of those things we all have in our house, right? It's a router, and it's a funny shaped thing. And so they put it in a box that is easy to stack and ship. And so that is basically a SIOC right there. And so a SIOC provides less packaging usually, that you don't end up with a product inside a box with a bunch of air pillows around it in another box, box in a box. I mean, we don't want that. So look for, I don't know that you can see the SIOC option, but when you're purchasing necessarily, but it's definitely the trend for manufacturers and companies is trying to provide their product in a box that is ready to ship.
Absolutely. And I know for both of those two options, Amazon certainly is the largest retailer, but I've definitely ordered stuff where it will be a SIOC. I ordered a vacuum cleaner, and it came in a box that was the vacuum cleaner box. And it said, it will show what's inside the box. I'm like, that's fine. So that's kind of one thing to look for. But it's really being diligent when you're placing your order to kind of see what is available in there. So
yeah, because a lot of times it's not you have no idea, and you have no choice as a consumer in the situation. There's not going to be a box to check. I got this lampshade online, and it's just it had to come in a box. They had to put it in a box. The manufacturer didn't have a box necessarily. So those are some times when you're just at the mercy of online shopping. I could go buy this at a store maybe, and it wouldn't, come in a container. I could buy a product off a shelf, but there are certain products that it's going to have to be boxed and shipped. So that's just the price of online ordering and home delivery, really, for some things.
It's true. It's true. So you were talking about a third option too, Pat.
Well, it's reusable packaging. So reusable packaging is kind of like, it's the greatest and the best, right?
I know, right?
Every package came. And so there are companies that are aligning themselves with the companies that make products, clothing companies, shoe companies, a lot of different products actually are aligning themselves with these reusable delivery devices. And it's usually like a Velcro wrap type envelope, or it's a fold up box type thing that's fully reusable. And sometimes the procedure is that there's a clear window in the reusable wrap, and you just open your package, and then from the inside you can pull the mailing label out, and you flip the mailing label around, and it goes right back to them. So you pull your product out, leave it out for the mailman or the UPS person, and they come and they take it back to where it goes, to their manufacturer. And so it's a distribution center kind of rework that takes place. It's not something that you have to order yourself. It just will happen.
Which is pretty cool. I know that there are kind of two examples of that. Loop is one of them, and Olive is another.
Right.
And they are kind of a unique situation where you would actually look at the Loop or the Olive kind of website or portal, customer portal, because you want to use reusable packaging. And so you'd look on Loop's website and you'd see what products they offer, and you'd order from them. Same with Olive.
Yes.
They're also kind of third party where they are working directly with manufacturers. So you might want to see which manufacturers that you shop with are using that returnable packaging. So
I think we're going to see that more often in the one-to-one, like consumer to manufacturer, like a shoe company or a clothing company. If you order directly from, rather than through an Amazon, distribution company, if you order directly from a supplier or manufacturer, then look for that option, or maybe send a note and say, hey, I'd like the option to be able to, order via you, even pay an upcharge if you needed to do a reusable packaging option. Because a lot of the bigger companies are starting to dabble in this space. They partner with some of these third-party outfits. So it's hard for a consumer to find those if it's not already presented and provided to you as an option in your engagement with an online, supplier. So it's all evolving, and there's new products emerging. There's new entrepreneurial companies trying to figure out, how do we become the go-to, reusable packaging option between manufacturer and consumer? And it's going to become a stronger presence, because companies want to reduce their carbon footprint, and when there are lots of parts of their companies they cannot change. They have to have the product, they have to have the materials, but these are variables. How the material is delivered to the consumer, there's options in that space. So we're going to see more more action in there. And we'll try and keep, bringing it up as a topic.
Yeah.
But it's up to the consumer too to look for it and ask for it.
Absolutely. And patronize the companies that are kind of doing that practice, which is really, really great. So really quickly to recap, there was also kind of the one that we can use a lot, which is, so one option is to consolidate your orders to ship in one day. And I just want to take 1 minute to talk about this because this is something that I do. So I'll put stuff in my online shopping cart and then I wait, right? You just wait a couple of days and I'm like, maybe, do I really need 8 pairs of unicorn socks? Maybe I just need 1.
There's only 7 days in a week. I mean, why do you need there?
Exactly. And I'm like, do I need it tomorrow or in 2 days? Or can I sit on it and consolidate it with my other packages and get it all in a couple of days? So that's one thing to think about, is that, it's, everybody loves stuff. I love stuff too. And sometimes you just need to kind of wait and consolidate your items. And that really helps because that means less packages are coming to your house, less delivery trucks are coming, less packaging for you to deal with. And so I know for Amazon, they do like a Prime Day you can select. So that's an option. And any online retailer, if you're ordering multiple things, see if you can combine those orders together and just wait another day or two. That's really the best way to eliminate the packaging and reduce the number of trips, which definitely helps on the decreasing of emissions coming to your house. And then Pat, do you want to walk us through kind of the 3 options for things just with the packaging in mind?
Yeah, so the frustration-free, which is an option, most with it through the Amazon process, you can click on that. And then the other one is, it's not as easy to select as a consumer, but it's that SIOC, it's the ships in own container. It's becoming more and more common. So look for that. It might be options. There might be an option for a consumer in that space.
Totally.
And then the prep-free packaging, it's like some things, they just have to come packed and you can't really get around that. So those are the 3 topics that are, exist. And we're going to see more evolution in the marketplace. We're going to see more green options move, step forward and become more available to all of us as consumers.
Absolutely. Well, Tyler, thank you for that question. And again, folks, we're going to be talking about e-commerce all month because we all order stuff and it's coming to our house and that's just part of life now. And we need to figure out what to do with all of these different types of packaging, some of which are in my background because you guys have sent us questions and samples and you want to know, what am I supposed to do with that? So we love hearing from you. Send us an email to askevelyn@seattle.gov. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, send us a message. We love hearing from you. And of course, if you guys are tuning in, you can always throw stuff in the chat too. We'll get to it. All right, folks, 2 quick reminders of events we have coming up. This Saturday at South Seattle Community College, we have one of our fall bulk compost giveaways. I know you guys love those events. So bring your own shovel and container and get up to half a yard of free compost.
Which location is this one at?
This one's at South Seattle College on 6th Avenue Southwest in West Seattle. So they have been a fantastic partner with us for several years. We're also looking to do another event, hopefully in the North End later this month or early October.
Great.
The other event I want to preview for you guys is we're doing another collection and reuse event, and that one's going to be at Rainier Community Center in Rainier Valley. That's going to be September 25th, and that's going to be 9 to 1. We, of course, will put links to both events in our show notes, and we hope to see you at both of those. All right, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. All of you I see in the comments below. We love having an audience, and we love hearing from you guys. Folks watching afterwards, we love that you watch us too. And we hope that you learned some stuff from us. So with that, this is another show, and we will see you next week, Wednesday, 1:30. And with that, I'm Becca Fong, and remember, life's simpler with less stuff.
And I'm Pat Kaufman. Remember to recycle right. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.